Welcome back to a very special edition of History Speaks, where we dive deep into the events, traditions, and stories that have shaped our world. I'm your host, Logan, and with me is my co-host, Pearce. Today we're celebrating the 4th of July by exploring its rich history and how its celebrations have evolved over the years. Pearce, are you excited to get started?
Absolutely, Logan. 4th of July is such a fascinating holiday with deep historical roots. There's so much to cover, so let's dive right in.
Let's start with the basics. The 4th of July, also known as Independence Day, commemorates the adoption of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. This was when the 13 American colonies declared their independence from British rule. But the journey to that day was long and complex.
Right. The road to independence involved years of tension, conflict, and negotiation. It wasn't an overnight decision. The colonies had been growing increasingly frustrated with the British policies, such as taxation without representation, leading to events like the Boston Tea Party in 1773.
And that frustration culminated in the First Continental Congress in 1774, and eventually the Second Continental Congress, where the Declaration of Independence was drafted primarily by Thomas Jefferson. The Declaration was a bold statement of the colony's intent to form a new nation free from British control.
Exactly. The Declaration of Independence was officially adopted on July 4th, 1776, but it wasn't until August 2nd that most delegates signed the document. That day marked a significant turning point in American history.
Now, let's talk about the first celebration of the 4th of July. How did people start commemorating this day in the early years?
The first celebrations were quite modest compared to today's festivities. In 1777, Philadelphia held the first annual commemoration, which included formal dinner, parades, music, and fireworks. Other towns soon followed, and the day began to be marked with public readings of the Declaration of Independence, speeches, and toasts.
Fireworks have become synonymous with the 4th of July. Do you know how that tradition started?
Fireworks were part of the very first Independence Day celebration in Philadelphia in 1777. They symbolized the new nation's triumph and joy of independence. Over the years, fireworks displays have become more elaborate, symbolizing patriotism and the spirit of freedom.
As the nation grew, so did the celebrations. By the 19th century, the 4th of July, it became a major public holiday. How did people celebrate during this period?
In the 19th century, 4th of July became a unifying event for Americans. Celebrations included parades, oratory, and community events. It was a time for political leaders to give speeches that emphasized the value of democracy and freedom. It became a family and community day with picnics, barbecues, and games.
The holiday took additional layers of meaning as the country faced various challenges, such as the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement. How did the 4th of July evolve during these times?
During the Civil War, the 4th of July took on a deeper significance as the symbol of nation's perseverance and unity. After the war, it became a day to remember those who fought for freedom and to celebrate the reunification of the country. The Civil Rights Movement added another layer, emphasizing liberty and justice for all Americans.
Let's fast forward to the 20th century. How did modern celebrations develop?
In the 20th century, the 4th of July became a more standardized holiday, with large-scale fireworks displays, concerts, and sporting events. The invitation of radio and television allowed celebrations to be broadcast nationwide, bringing the festivities into every American home.
One iconic aspect of modern celebrations is the televised fireworks displayed from the National Mall in Washington, D.C. It is a tradition that many Americans look forward to every year.
Yes, the Capitol 4th concert and fireworks display is a spectacular event that showcases Americans' culture and heritage. It's a blend of music, history, and patriotism that resonates with people across the country.
Now let's talk about some unique 4th of July traditions from different parts of the country. Each region has its own way of celebrating.
Absolutely. For example, in Bristol, Rhode Island, the 4th of July parade is the oldest continuous Independence Day celebration in the United States, dating back to 1785. It's a big event that draws thousands of visitors every year.
And in New York, the Macy's 4th of July fireworks show is a massive display over the East River, featuring thousands of fireworks launched from barges. It's one of the largest fireworks shows in the country.
On the West Coast, San Francisco's waterfront and the Golden Gate Park are popular spots for watching fireworks and celebrating with family and friends. The city hosts a variety of events, including concerts and picnics.
In Washington, D.C., the National Independence Day Parade along Constitution Avenue, featuring marching bands, floats, and military units, culminating in a spectacular fireworks display over the National Mall.
Even small towns have their unique traditions. In Seward, Nebraska, the 4th of July celebration includes a grand parade, carnival, and even a pie eating contest. It's a great example of how communities come together to celebrate.
The 4th of July is also a day for reflection and remembrance. Many people visit historical sites and monuments to honor those who fought for America's independence and those who continue to defend its freedoms.
That's right. Places like Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the Statue of Liberty, and various battlefields in the Revolutionary War became focal points of patriotic reflection.
Let's not forget the significance of the 4th of July for immigrants and new citizens. For many, it represents the promise of freedom and opportunity that America offers.
Naturalization ceremonies were often held on the 4th of July, welcoming new citizens to the country. It's a powerful reminder of the ongoing story of America's founding principles and the diverse people who continue to shape its future.
Now let's switch gears a bit. We've talked about the history and traditions, but what about the symbols associated with the 4th of July? What are some key symbols and their meanings?
The American flag is, of course, the most prominent symbol. Its stars and stripes represent the original 13 colonies and the 50 states of the Union. The colors red, white, and blue stand for valor, purity, and justice, respectively.
Another important symbol is the bald eagle, which was chosen as the national bird in 1782. It represents strength, courage, and freedom. The Liberty Bell, located in Philadelphia, is also a powerful symbol of American independence.
And let's not forget the Statue of Liberty, a gift from France, which stands as a beacon of freedom and democracy. It has welcomed millions of immigrants arriving in America and continues to symbolize hope and opportunity.
Music also plays a significant role in the 4th of July celebrations. Patriotic songs like the Star-Spangled Banner and America the Beautiful and God Bless America are staples of the holiday. Do you have a favorite patriotic song, Pierce?
I'd say America the Beautiful is one of my favorites. The lyrics beautifully capture the essence of the country's landscape and spirit. What about you, Logan?
I love the Star-Spangled Banner. Every time I hear it, especially during fireworks, it gives me chills. The story behind the lyrics, written by Francis Scott Key during the War of 1812, adds so much depth to the song.
Absolutely. Music has a unique way of bringing people together and evoking a sense of national pride. It's an essential part of 4th of July experience.
Now let's discuss some fun facts about the 4th of July that our listeners might not know. For instance, did you know that 2 men signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776? Most of the others signed later.
That's right. John Hancock and Charles Thomson were the only two who signed on the actual day. Another interesting fact is that 3 U.S. presidents have died on July 4th: Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and James Monroe.
Jefferson and Adams, both founding fathers and signers of the Declaration, died on the same day in 1826, which was the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It's a remarkable coincidence.
Indeed. And did you know that July 4th was not declared a federal holiday until 1870? It wasn't until 1938 that Congress made it a paid federal holiday.
That's fascinating. The 4th of July has certainly come a long way from its early beginnings to become a grand celebration we know today.
Absolutely. The holiday continues to evolve, reflecting the changes in American society and culture. It's a day for all Americans to come together and celebrate their shared heritage and values.
As we wrap up this segment, let's reflect on what the 4th of July means to us personally. Pierce, what does Independence Day mean to you?
For me, the 4th of July is a day to appreciate the freedoms we often take for granted. It's a reminder of the sacrifices made by those who fought for our independence and continue to protect our liberties. It's also a time to gather with family and friends to celebrate our shared identity as Americans.
I feel the same way. It's a day of gratitude, reflection, and unity. No matter our differences, the 4th of July brings us together to celebrate the ideals that define our nation. It's a powerful reminder of our history and the ongoing journey towards a more perfect union.
Well said, Logan. I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the history of the 4th of July to its modern celebrations and symbols. We hope our listeners enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most cherished holidays.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. Remember to subscribe to History Speaks and leave us a review if you enjoyed today's episode. And as you celebrate this 4th of July, take a moment to reflect on the history and significance of the day.
Have a happy and safe Independence Day, everyone. Until next time, I'm Pearce.
And I'm Logan. Happy 4th of July. There we go.
I'm so good at reading.
So good. So not dyslexic.
So not